What's going on, y'all? This is your girl, Shawna Speaks to Inspire, and this is the male and female perspective podcast. And I'm here with my dope co-host, Jus Comply.
Shauna,
What's
good
going
good
on?
afternoon, good evening, good
Good
evening.
evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world
Some,
today.
some, it's
Yeah,
evening, it's afternoon somewhere.
yeah. Tonight, y'all, we'll be talking about the Sonya Massey story. I'm not hyped today, so
Yeah,
let's go.
let's go.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's your girl, Shawna Speaks, and this is the male and female perspective podcast. And I have the pleasure to be next to this guy, Jus Comply.
Shauna, how you doing? How's your day going?
It was going all right until I started going down the TikTok streets.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I get it. I get it. Before we start though, for everybody out there, we appreciate your support. We we appreciate the feedback.
yeah.
Please follow, subscribe, like, share, comment. You know, anything as far as to feedback or any type of help that we can get to help us to grow. We appreciate it.
That's right.
Um, we just two servants of you, the public. Trying to do our best.
And trying to bridge this gap between the male and female perspective.
Yes, yes.
So Comply, my boy, my dude.
this this is a heavy heart conversation right here.
This
I,
is,
I
this is. I'm getting my mind mentally ready.
mhm.
Um, you can start. I
Yeah.
guess you want me
So
to start. You know.
we can get this. We can get
Yeah.
it popping on this one. I'm so sick of this conversation. That's the first part of. That's where I want to lead. Right there is I'm sick
Yeah.
of this
Sick of
particular
this.
conversation. Um, for those that don't know, Sonya Massey, black woman, middle age, called the police in her city because
Illinois, right? I think.
yeah, in Illinois, the state is Illinois, but I can't
Yeah.
remember what the city was. It's kind of, I think it's kind of like a small city,
Yeah.
but called the police, because she thought that there was a prowler
Mm.
on the outside of her property, so in the typical law-abiding citizen manner,
Yeah.
she called the police because they are charged with protecting and serving in situations like that because they'll tell you. And Shauna, you and I, we've worked, in our various capacities. We don't ever encourage the person to go and try to handle things themselves.
Nope.
That's why you got law enforcement, so that way they can go and investigate and you know
Yeah.
de-escalate situations or whatever that may look like.
Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be.
Supposed to.
Working alongside them. In New York, I think is a little different. And I know New York has had their share of police involved pew pews,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, and things like that, incidents. I'm not gonna say that I'm trying to sweep it under the rug, but I think it's not as bad as like these other what Midwestern you know uh other part of the East Coast
Mm-hmm.
situations. But we've been on the news. We had our share. So, like you said, she was 36 years old, mother of two, called because she thought a prowler was at her home, and it was around like what, like think 12 at night,
About midnight, yeah.
midnight. So, however it happened, they got there. Protocol is when you get to somebody's house, you knock on the door. If they don't answer after two, three, four knocks, you tell dispatch, hey, do a callback. So the purpose of the callback is to see if we can hear the phone ringing in the background to make sure that this is not a prank call and to make sure that this call actually came from the actual residence that they show up to.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that, but then in the midst of it, she took a minute. They can hear the phone ringing, in the background. And then there was a second call that seemed to go to a 911 only phone, which means that she has a phone that's off. But most phones now you could call 911.
Emergency only.
So
Yeah.
right, so they called that number, but that one didn't ring. But the one originally that she made the call actually rung. She came to the door. The call said the call came in like when they got to the door was like 107. By the time they walked around the property, saw her car was like a broken window to a car.
Yeah.
She
Brooklyn.
finally
Yeah.
came to the door, and when she finally came to the door, when she finally opened the door, because I guess they got dispatchers like, "Hey, ma'am, they outside. Go open the door for the officers." That or the initial officer, which his body cam wasn't on, but his partner's was. If you ever see the video, it's all his partner's video cam. He said, "What took you so long to open the door?" It was already attitude right
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, she started to explain, this and the third to them. And then what he said, which I wasn't clear why he said, he was like, "So how's your mental health?" So a lot of people on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram has been saying that, thinking that he knew her, like, maybe this was a time that he came to a house before. But I know there's times for me when I've gone to a patient's house, being the EMS side of it. If we know you, we'll say, "Hey, how you doing? We've been here before. How were you the last time?" So he never said
Mm-hmm.
anything that made me, being like, the inside in, the
Mm-hmm.
outside in, to think that he actually knew her. Because
Mm-hmm.
once he got in the house, he started asking her for ID. So that tells me that you didn't really have a rapport with her, or a
Mm-hmm.
kind of run in, or whatever the case may be. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then, yeah, so okay, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, so from there she went in, and then outside she said, "Hey, thank y'all, and she even said I love y'all to them, because there was a time where it wasn't clear. She had whispered like, something along the lines of, I don't. They said, "Oh, we're not gonna hurt you. Why would you think that?" Something along that line, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's like 4 different sets to the video that they broke up, and they wound up, for whatever reason, they went in her house.
Yeah.
Now I guess that's protocol, because I remember one time that I had called for my mom. My mom was here at my house, and
Mm-hmm.
my mother was fell asleep, and I thought that something happened to her, because she wouldn't answer the phone, and she wasn't answering through the Alexa app. So I had
Mm-hmm.
PD come, and they was like, "Well, if she doesn't have any medical problems, we're not going to bust your door down." But once I realized that I came in my uniform, woke her up. They still came in to walk through the house for whatever reason. I thought it was kind of weird, but I guess it's maybe their protocol. I don't know. We don't we only do that if somebody call and we saying that nobody's in the house, and then we'll walk around to make sure the said person that we're looking for is not there or okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she sat down, but then it was weird to me because she kept looking at this officer, and
Grayson.
like, yeah, Grayson, right? That's his name. So she kept looking at him. She kept her eyes on him. Like, I zoomed in, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, and then she was like, saying, he's like, "Well, asking for ID." So she was kind of fumbling. And then what was kind of weird is that she kept her eyes on him, but then there was another officer or dispatcher on the phone that was trying to hang up.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, "No, hold on." So she did not want the officer on the phone to hang up for whichever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying, why she don't want, because there's times when we be on the phone, and I've had to get my guys, like, as I'm a dispatch lieutenant, to get off the phone with a call or a patient, because they're afraid.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be like, "Can you please stay on the line?" And usually once there's a higher authority there, we are to disconnect the call. But if they request it, we stay on.
Mm-hmm.
So she put the phone down, but she did not want this officer. So I'm not clear if he hung up, but she said, "No, hold on." So once they say that, we're not supposed to hang up.
Right.
Fast forward, she just stayed like on him. Like, it was like every time it's like she didn't look at the other officer. She just stayed fixed on him for some reason. And that
Right.
kind of like made me a little leery. Then she said,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I got paperwork," because he kept asking her, it was, like, "There's something with your car." She's like, "Oh, yeah, I had a busted window, a dent, something like that, but I got paperwork." Then she said, "Can you pass me my Bible?" And then it kind of went left from there. He passed her the Bible, and she put it next to her. She still couldn't find his paperwork. And then, they started walking through the house trying to look through the house to see what's going on. And she had a pot of boiling water, or a pot on the stove. Officer Grayson, right? That's his name, Mason?
Mm-hmm.
Grayson.
Grayson. Yeah.
Grayson
Mm-hmm.
said to her, "Oh, go to the stove and handle a pot, we don't want a fire, whichever. And then from there, all hell broke loose. I don't, you could
Yeah.
start from there, and I'll
Um.
add to the rest of it.
Well, I watched the whole thing, and
Me too.
my annoyance started with the fact that um he responded to the location without his body cam on,
Facts.
because for me, like, if that's proper protocol, and the other detective or the other gentleman knew and put his body cam on immediately, because it's not enough for you to arrive on a scene or whatever and someone else tells one side of the story, you tell the other side of the story.
Yeah.
Well, if you got the body cam on, the body cam tell everything. You ain't even got to say anything. Just look at my body cam.
Just look
Like,
at the
you know
body
what I mean?
cam.
And for you to have it off purposely means that, in my mind, it means that you were up to something nefarious anyway. Because
Mm.
why would you not have your body cam on? Right?
Mm.
She
Maybe forgot.
responded.
I don't know. Just being devil
uh,
advocate. But either way.
Nah,
Okay.
I'm not for that,
Okay.
because in a situation like myself, like I work in the field that I work in, and if my equipment doesn't work or whatever the case may be, or if I forget certain things, there is actionable things that happen because you forgot that, because I'm not the doing my job to the fullest,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Um, so that, just given the environment that we live in now, and the reason why they started making it mandatory for police officers to wear body cams. You're not wearing it for decoration. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's,
Nobody cares about your conversations.
you know what I mean? Like, so the fact that you arrived on the scene and your first instinct wasn't to just turn your body cam on was disturbing to me, because everything after that is, okay, I have to take the other person's I have to take the other person's word for it. I
Yeah.
have to take it, because why didn't you have your body cam on?
That's right.
So that's the first part.
Okay.
Then the manner in which he spoke to her starting off.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you know I don't know if he knew her. I don't know if he had ever
Mm.
been around or anything else like that.
Right.
The devil's in the details in regards to that. But you if you're responding to a location,
Yeah.
and she didn't come to the door hostile or anything else like that. So what is
She was
your
pleasant.
purpose? Yeah, what is your purpose of being hostile towards her? Like, what difference does it make why it took her so long to get there?
He was
Like, you know
annoyed.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so if you're annoyed, stay your ass in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are in a field that requires you to have a certain type of manner about you when dealing with situations.
Yeah.
Right off break, your disposition and stuff like that is off-putting in a
Mm-hmm.
situation where you don't have to be,
Yeah.
right? So then we get to the boiling pot.
Oh.
Okay, like, you noticed it, he noticed it. I'm just wondering, why couldn't he have turned it's a boiling pot?
It's a boiling pot.
If
And
you were
and
there
and
in the
and let it
same damn
boil. And let it
man,
boil.
let it boil. That's her problem to
It
deal
ain't
with. You
smoke.
know what I mean?
You ain't a
You know,
firefighter, sir.
stay in your lane. And if you feel, you felt like, yo, like, I just don't feel too comfortable about the boiling pot, you could easily turn that off. Turn it
Right. Why
off.
why 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 send her to the weapon that you think is a weapon? Why go,
That you
hey,
think
go
is,
get the pot? And then you said to her, one thing at a time, let's get your ID. So you over here with the ID, she's on you, she tell you to pass the Bible to her, right? This is all stuff that I need you to listen to. There was something about her saying, pass me the Bible, that I feel
hmm
started everything. And
hmm
now that's the natural way. Something
hmm
happened in the spiritual realm that was about to take place.
hmm
When she got up to go, like you said, to the boiler pop again.
yeah,
I'll bring it back.
she recognized that demon.
Oh, she did. Yes, she did.
She did.
She
You
did.
know what I
Cause
mean?
I'm telling you, go back when you go back, y'all, and look at the very first video when she's sitting down. First of all, he's tall as I don't know what. I think he probably was your height,
He
Kabla.
probably about my height. Yeah.
He stood. First of all, she's already intimidated by your stature.
Mm-hmm.
Standing over her, she's sitting down. You're standing over her, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
looking for papers, but she kept her eyes on him. She looked at the partner probably
Mm-hmm.
once, but her
Mm-hmm.
eyes was like this, and they were big, and it was like she saw something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll finish after you start the pot thing.
And so she goes to the pot,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what was in her mind at that particular point, right? And I
They step back.
I wish I could say that she was rational in that moment, but maybe she wasn't. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? I wasn't in that particular situation. Like, but I think that there was definitely, because both of them reacted. So they
Mm.
obviously felt like there was some type of threat when she got to the pot, right? Because both of them reacted. The one dude backed up.
Yeah, they both. She said, "Why did you back
Yeah.
up?" And they both like, "Oh, because we don't want to be in the middle
Right. We don't
of
want to be
with you with the pot."
with the
And
pot.
then
You know
and
what I
then
mean?
she said, "Where you going?" So she said, "Where you going?" Because she
Mm-hmm.
noticed they stepped back. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how I depicted it when it
Okay.
came to that part. So now
Okay.
we in the spiritual realm because
Okay.
Mister. So I gotta hit this. When we are spiritually intact to that spirit part, the demonic, we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but principalities in high places, right? The Bible says
Mm-hmm.
there's things that we see with your discernment, and we like, I don't like to say third eye, but we can see things inside of that spiritual realm if you're locked in.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody that's looking at us on the outside, we do look like we're about to have a manic situation because it's a blurt. When you see it, you say it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for
Mm-hmm.
somebody else, it's like, what's wrong with you? So for me and my medical eye,
Mm-hmm.
the way she did it, I was like, oh, that look a little. She had a little flip. Something
Mm-hmm.
happened. But my
Mm-hmm.
spiritual eye, from watching her look at him, she saw she saw something on him.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm gonna say, and this is probably the only time I'm gonna defend him, and it's not really a defend. We know if you go back to The Exorcist and things like that, when you be like, I don't know what the Catholics say, something Jesus compels you, and when
Mm-hmm.
they
Right.
say that, they throw
Mm-hmm.
water.
Yeah.
So when
Mm-hmm.
when she said in our African American tone, I rebuke you, that's a black thing. That's a
Mm-hmm.
that's a Christian, Pentecostal, Baptist term.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side,
Or
Catholic,
on the Catholic side. Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah.
the Catholic side, what is
The
it?
power of Christ compels
Catholicism,
you.
the power of
Yeah.
Christ compels you. Every
Yeah.
time we heard the power of Christ compels you, there was some type of holy water that was
Mm-hmm.
what? Thrown.
Throne. Yeah. Yeah.
So y'all can fight me, but this is what I saw, and this is the revelation I got to the reason why he reacted. Not saying that he wasn't in his demon time. I
Mm-hmm.
do believe it because when she said it, she's at the water.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying, "I rebuke you." He like, "You better not." So in his
Mm-hmm.
mind, he like, if you rebuking me holding water, and I can compare the two. And then not saying that is only a African American thing, but I only have heard rebuke in that type of setting of the black churches.
Right. Right.
But not saying that the Caucasian people don't know that means a type of
Mm-hmm.
rebuking, like I'm casting you out.
Right.
So when she said you better not, he said you better not, I'll blast you in your F blah blah blah. Once he
Mm-hmm.
said that, she said I'm sorry, and she
Mm-hmm.
dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead from there, because I know you saw the thing, because I don't want to overtake it, but yeah. So I'm only gonna say that I believe once she said I rebuke it, and she said it twice, his
Mm-hmm.
mind went to like, oh, she thinks she gonna throw this, she gonna
Mm-hmm.
compel me with this holy water. Oh, I got something
Yeah.
for you. And I think that's where it went left. And that's still in both spiritually for me. And I'll
But
stand on that.
I think it was going to go left anyway, because
No, I
when
understand that.
she's when she got to the boiling hot water, and when she said, "I rebuke you," or whatever, and once he said to her, "Put it down, or I'll shoot you in your effing face,"
Mm-hmm.
that let me know that it was premeditated from that moment on that he was going to do what he did.
And he did what he did. And he did what he
Because he
said.
told you what he said. He said what he was going to do, and he did it. You know what I mean?
Right. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm
And
gonna pew pew you." He
right,
said exactly where it was gonna happen and how it was gonna happen.
and how it was going to happen.
And she dropped.
And then he took his weapon out and pointed it at her. Now, mind you, there are so many different other things that could have happened. They could have distanced themselves. They could have backed away. They could have used a taser. There were so many other things that could have happened, because in actuality, she had not committed a crime.
And she
She
poured the
had
water in the
not.
sink. You can hear the water when she threw it in the sink.
She
You
had
can hear
not
it.
committed a crime.
Nothing. Nothing. Not one thing.
So you mean to tell me, because you uneasy, because you got something going on in you,
Mm-hmm.
that this woman is no longer here for her and her family,
Excuse me.
because you uneasy about your encounter with a black woman on a midnight shift in regards to a prowler at her house
With your partner.
with your partner.
And she's alone. Thank God her kids wasn't there.
Thank God. And I'm sick of this, because it's it brings me back to Breonna Taylor.
Mm.
It goes back even further to Tatiana Jefferson. If you don't know about Tatiana Jefferson,
Mm-hmm.
it's a young lady back in 2019 that got um, unalived in her home,
Mm-hmm.
um, when she called
For help.
for help.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so annoyed with this. Like, time and again, they feel as if, thank God though, that like they're actually getting charged with
Mm-hmm.
these crimes and stuff like that they're committing. But my goodness, like, at what point in time do we start evaluating this whole system that allows people to arrive on scenes and think immediately that the only way to handle this particular situation is based on the color of the skin of the person that is in this situation? Because I can guarantee you that if the person that called about the prowler was a Caucasian person, she would still be alive today. And people
And they would have
can,
turned off her pot for her.
and they would have turned the pot off for her.
But can we go deeper?
Go ahead.
So, okay, so he says what he gonna do. She drops. She says sorry. He was standing in front of her island and moved after he shot her. She said sorry. Her hands was up, and you still shot her twice. Now your partner, rightfully so, he has to pull out and draw his gun because that's protocol.
Yeah.
You can hear her taking her gurgling. You can hear it, right?
Yeah.
Because if he shot her point blank in her dome, the rest of your body has time to catch up. So you can be, brain unalive, but your body is still, especially if you didn't hit the right part of the brain that affects
Regulates
breathing,
everything.
regulate
Yeah.
breathing, right? And it didn't, because you can hear her taking a real gaspy breath. What bothered me the most watching this as a paramedic is that
They
I could
didn't
hear
offer
her.
her
No, the partner said, "I'm going to go get my kit."
Yeah. And he
He said, "Don't.
don't.
It's to the head."
Yeah.
And then he said, and then if you watch it, he goes, "Just let her." But he caught himself. So what he was saying is, just let her on the live. Just let her, because he could see her. He was standing there. She was, and the partner still went to get it. Now this is my speculation, but I'm more believer than not. But this is my speculation. This is circumstantial. The partner was the only one that had the camera, the body cam on. The suspect, Grayson, didn't put his camera on to after.
To after the fact.
There's only them two there yet, right? Got on the air, female headshot, blah, blah, blah. Never explained how. So at this point, everybody's thinking the prowler did it because nobody knows how long they was there, how long it took them to get in the house. That's all. Everybody just waiting for a time except the guy on the phone. I still don't know if that officer was still on that phone. That's a whole nother situation.
Right. The
officer went and got his kit. He came back in. Now, you hear him like he's saying to the is this said address? Is this resident a 1096? So in our jurisdiction, for EMS, 1096 for us means person is gone on arrival, meaning by car, whatever. They're not at the location. 1096 for them means is this person a mental patient? So now now they're both on both ends of the radio trying to set a scene. He's trying to figure out if she's nutty for saying I rebuke you, to have something to stand on now. But while he's on one end, the officer that did it, he's on the phone saying, officer, woman headshot. Because usually if somebody got a headshot, officers don't usually shoot in the head. They go body, right? They do this part.
Send a mass, yeah.
Right, send a mass first. Send a mass, right? That's usually what they're trained. But he shot her in her head, unalived in her head. But when you listen to the other call, the officer, whoever's supposed to take this transaction or this call, he asks her, "Is it self-inflicted?" He whispered, "Yes." He whispered, "Yes." And
so they would get in there.
They was trying to set the scene up.
They were trying to get it together.
Right. So when he asked, so when the other officer was outside asking if she was a 1096, he said negative. But then in the call, once all the other officers got there, he said to her, "Oh, she's a 1096," but it was just said that she wasn't a 1096. So they both was trying to set the scene up. What bothers me the most, and I'm gonna stand on this is my speculation, but I'm gonna stand on, y'all can watch it yourselves. By the time everybody was there, he said, "Oh, she came." Listen to the words. She came at me with boiling water. I was standing right here, which was a lie, and you could see it right here. So he said that there was water on the floor where he was standing
at his feet
to say she threw it.
Right.
Here's my speculation. While his officer was outside,
went to go get the kit.
Because if you noticed, he went to go get the kit. His camera wasn't on. When you came back in the house, the water was shut off. So that means you turned the water off because it was running the whole time that she was dying on the floor. The water was off by the time he came back. He threw water on that floor.
Yeah, he did that.
He threw water on that floor because he said you wanna know you wanna hear the story? The officer was like, "Nah, not yet." He said, "What happened to her?" "Oh, a shot?" "Oh, but the prowler?" He go, "I'm the prowler. I'm the shot." He go, "You did?" "Yeah, because she threw water. She came at me with boiling water. You can see right here. I was standing right here. You see it at my feet. You see it right here." So I was like, "Negro, she didn't throw no water." So there's 3 different setups. And then if you go back to the other video before the officers came, he was like, what could we do? He kept saying we. Me, I'd be like, "Nigga, not me," and we ain't no we. I didn't shoot her.
Right.
I didn't pew her. But guess what? He kept saying it because you see the water right here, because it came at our feet, and I'm not taking no water to the face. He kept saying it, and his partner was quiet because he knew his camera was on.
Yeah.
He didn't say, "Yeah, bro, I get it." He kept saying, "You good?" He like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Let me go get the kit." "Oh, don't get the kit." He kept saying it to try to coerce his partner to say, "She threw the water, right? It's at our feet, right? And we had to do what we had to do." His partner never said, "Yeah, nothing." He was probably like, "Nah, that ain't what happened." And unfortunately, you don't know. My camera's on.
Yep.
That's what bothered me the whole thing. So my speculation is when he walked out, because that water wasn't running anymore, he threw water on that floor to
To try to
justify that she
justify him
threw it.
shooting. Yeah,
Right.
and that was the reason for his 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 blatant, premeditated,
Premeditated.
un- unaliving of her, because
Yes.
that, like, he had every intention,
Yes.
and that once that moment came, and he made that statement to her, you already have told, like,
That it
that's
was
your
gonna
intention.
happen.
It was
Yep.
going to happen.
Right.
You know
And
what I
you
mean?
said where you was gonna do it at.
Yep.
And you
And it
did.
did it.
So that bothered, of course the whole thing bothered me, but when I
Hmm.
heard it's like that, like the body cams is the little witness.
Hmm.
And the fact that he kept saying, "You want to hear the story?" Because he already, by his partner, they both, because the partner is sitting there like breathing hard, like, "Oh my God, like I can't believe this happened." He's
And
inside
see,
making up stories. He threw water on that floor. He threw
this
water
is
on
the
that floor.
reason why. This is the reason why, in a situation like this, I don't care nothing about what you got to talk about. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are a stand-up person,
Yeah.
say they said that he had this was the sixth police job that he had been
Transfer.
transferring. Why he
Yes.
transferring? Where he
Why?
going?
Where you
What's
going?
going on? You know what I
Right.
mean? And if you was a stand-up person, when you arrive on the scene, because I talk, look, my sister is a sergeant at Birmingham, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
She, I've talked to her many times where, she's had to arrive on scenes or whatever else like that. Part of her protocol, they make sure that they're, before they leave out the station, that the body cam that they're putting on works
It's
correctly.
functioning. That's right.
It's functioning, because if it's not functioning, they need to go ahead and they need to go
Put
get
it out of
take
service.
put it out of service and go get them something that's working,
That's
right?
right.
Because it's not only to protect the public, it's to protect them.
Yep. But thank God for two.
You know what I'm saying? So you arrive on the scene, and that's my problem right there, is that if the partner had a been with the foolishness, if he had a been just as bad as you are and not been, because he displayed the correct type of training.
He
That's the
did.
reason why he didn't get fired. That's the reason why nobody has any issue whatsoever with him. That's why
No.
he's not a person that's getting charged with
Nope.
manslaughter or anything like that, because
Mm-hmm.
he did everything by the
What he's
book, the way
supposed to
that
do.
you supposed to
That's
do.
right. He didn't shoot with him. He sat there and was in his mind. He drew because that's what he's supposed to do.
Right. Once
You
the
know.
shots got fired, then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got to draw at that
Yep.
particular point, because you don't know how this is going to end. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You got to protect yourself in this particular
Yep.
situation. So
Yep.
I don't fault him for having to draw once the shots got fired.
No, not
But
right. He
he
did
didn't
everything he's supposed to do.
initiate it. He didn't
Nope.
do any. He showed patience. He scooted back, like, hey, put
Yeah.
that
What's
down.
going
You know what I
on?
mean?
Yeah.
What's going
Right.
on? You know
But
what
it
I
was
mean?
no need to even say put that down because,
Or
like I
he
said,
showed
his
necessary caution. Let's put it
yeah,
that
right.
way.
They both step back, because
Yeah.
like so this is like I said, I have a problem with the fact of you sending. You wasn't thinking about the water. Now, like I said, she could have been having a moment.
Hmm.
She could have been seeing something that wasn't there. Maybe maybe we bugged out with her, right?
Yeah. Right.
Maybe just saying that is a trigger for a bunch of us because, like I said,
Right.
if somebody say that and you holding water, what you gonna do with it?
Right.
Right? Because you're like, why you moving back?
Right.
Maybe she was demonic. I don't know.
Right.
Still in all, and I'm not saying anything. By the
Hmm.
time you throw, and it's summertime, by
Hmm.
the time you try to throw water, it ain't gonna get far, and it ain't gonna be as hot as it is unless you was standing on her,
Hmm.
and you could have tased her,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then you
Like,
try
why
to
was the gun the first thing that you went for in this
right.
particular? You know what I mean? Like, you could have. I mean, look. If you tase her and she get burns from her own hot water, that's on her. You know
That's
what I
on
mean? I
her.
told you to put it
I
down,
told you to
but
put it down.
you know, but to that's the first thing that, for whatever reason, a lot of these cops, and I think that it's a inferiority complex that they have when they
Mm-hmm.
arrive on the scenes
Yeah.
and they see black people, and they're automatically intimidated by black people. So it's like, you know what, the only
So
way
sad.
that I can address, or I can feel safe, is threaten the lives of the person that's in front of me. You know what I mean? And to think that you can't call as a woman, you can't call the police when you're at home by yourself and you hear something or whatever that's outside your home, your property owner, you know what I mean? You hear something on the outside of your home and you're like, hey, I
That ain't
just,
something right.
something's going on. And for you to, it's not the prowler that you thought was outside that ends your life. It's the
Right.
people that you called to help you.
She probably been better with the prowler being
Better
at the
with the
door.
prowler.
Right. She probably been better with the prowler.
Yo. But then they'll tell you not to take matters into your own hands or whatever else like that.
Nope.
Look, before I call, I'm just
That's
be
like
100 with
what
you.
they were saying, the bed or the man. I'll take the bed. I'll take the bed for 5,000, Alec. If the
I'm gonna tell you.
bed's the prowler and the man is a cop, I'm gonna take the bed. I'm going with the bed.
I'm telling you this right here, right now. I ever have a situation in my house or whatever. The phone is the last thing I'm gonna pick up.
Right.
I'm just telling you
After I do
that.
what I gotta do.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I need a collection. Pick up on aisle 5. That's what's gonna be the
There's
call.
there's some spillage.
It's a spillage. Somebody's leaking over here. We have some trails
You know what I mean?
into the dark.
Because
We might want to go check on them because they're not doing good.
Because I mean, this is simply ridiculous, and time and again, we keep seeing these situations
Yeah.
where our people is the one that's adversely affected by situations where we should be protected. And okay, you know what? What just let's just say for the sake of argument
Yeah.
that she let's just say for the sake of argument that she did have some type of mental issue or whatever the case may be. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
accept that, but
I mean,
let's
this
just
day and
say
age,
it.
we all do. Okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
survived
let's just say
COVID.
it.
Yeah. Let's just say it. Yeah.
You know,
She did. Okay. Let's say she
but
did.
let's just say that she did. Do she deserve to be on the ground at this particular point with her family mourning her? Did she do
Absolutely
something
not.
so egregious to the fact that now someone has to plan her funeral and her children no longer get to see their mother? Is that
Yeah.
is that where we're at?
Well, think about it. I mean, if you want to say absolutely, boiling water can potentially hurt somebody really bad. But let's talk about, was it Sandra Bland? Let's talk about those
Mm-hmm.
that ain't have no weapons,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like you said, Breonna Taylor, she was a fellow EMT. She was
Mm-hmm.
asleep.
In the bed.
People can't jump up and be startled by you busting in doors and things like that in the wrong apartment. And now I'm going. How many people with no weapons? Nothing. Not a cell phone or a wallet no more. That was the first edition of
Yeah.
lies.
Yeah.
Now it's just, you reached.
You reach.
What is it? Was it Mike Brown when he told him to reach it and
Mm-hmm.
he reached it? Like, what? You told me
Mm-hmm.
to reach and come on. Man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, as much as we think we're evolving, and goes back to why our podcast is so relevant to what we're trying to do. This is a current event and a trending topic that we definitely talking about. But what bothers me is that we do this to each other on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to understand why we keep pushing ourselves away, because if there was a man in that house with her, it wouldn't have went
Would
this
it
way. It wouldn't
would
have
it
went
have
this
been
way.
different though?
It would have been different because the man would have took care of said prowler. There wouldn't have been no need for no call.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? I wouldn't have
yeah.
gotten
As
the
a man,
phone.
I'm not gonna call. I'm not gonna
Right.
call the cop. Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is why it's important for us as women, and I'm not trying to turn away, but this is the situations we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We need each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
agree.
situation. I don't know her marital status. I don't know if she got her kids. If they just wait for the weekend, wait for the summer. We don't know. I guess it'll
Right.
come out later. It really doesn't matter.
It don't even matter.
But this was a
Yeah.
36-year-old woman home by herself in her robe, making some tea or coffee. It was the reason why she was boiling that water.
Right.
And something disturbed her. And she called. because she's on a flat. It's not. It looked like it's a flat. I don't know if she had any
Mm-hmm.
stairs or like it's just one flat. So that's
Mm-hmm.
even more scary because you got windows. You don't know where the person's coming in. So now you're paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's important for us women to have the covering of you men because of situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, depending where you are, you will have some type of right to carry in your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a prowler, then you can send a warning and you don't have to call the cops or later on if that's necessary. But when you're
Right.
by yourself and even if I did have one, I still would probably call after the fact because I'm like picking one out of five.
Mm-hmm.
This is why togetherness is so important because now I have a problem with men being mad at another black woman being unalive by the hands of the YT man,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not. But y'all don't protect us. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a contradicting situation for me because before
Right.
this happened about this whole year, men been just dogging us. But now you're mad because
Mm-hmm.
one of us is going at the hands of somebody else. So it's like, well, we get to beat our women, you don't. How dare
Mm-hmm.
you? I'm mad. Okay, back to now. She, say her name a couple more times for a couple of more weeks, and then it's right
Mm-hmm.
back to business as usual. I have a problem with that, and that hurts my feelings more or equal as what just happened to this young black woman. She didn't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody deserves it. And it's like that property thing that we've been
Mm-hmm.
for years. It's like it's still on us. Like we're still sold.
Yeah. So
And yeah, go ahead.
if I may, for just a moment, in regards to the conversation, like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time, um, a lot of a lot of the things that you hear about from the black men in regards to black women and things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature, like it's because of the fact that um, we're in close proximity with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're not going outside of your race, then you're going to hear a lot about the conversations within our own race, right?
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of if you're around um, nothing but Caucasian people, they're going to talk about what's going on in their particular community or Asians or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
proximity is one thing, and then the other thing is you know the saying, you've been down this road before, I'm sure, where it's okay and it's not okay, but the saying is it's okay for me to talk about you, but it's not okay for somebody else to do it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's that
Because
point. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because like me and my sister can go at it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We
But
could
you don't
go
get
at it,
to.
but you don't get to
Yeah.
raise your voice at my sister in my presence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I get the disheartening part of it is because
Mm-hmm.
like, but I would say in fairness though, there's a whole lot of people that's trying to they're seeing the problem of us not being together and they're trying to bridge the gap just like us. You get what I'm saying? Like I see
Some people are.
now you hear the loud minority.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the minority has these platforms to where
Mm-hmm.
they get the most attention because do you know how vanilla it is if a man is faithful to his wife and they're not arguing and they're not fighting, they're not bickering, and they're
Mm-hmm.
raising their kids, whatever, they're not getting TV shows or anything like that. They're not getting
Oh
recognition
no.
like that. Who would
Mm.
who would care? They're not
No.
caring about that.
No.
No, it's
Division.
no,
Yep.
it's the people that you know what, and we can't stay in relationships. I got baby daddy trouble, this, that, and the third, all this other stuff. My baby mama, she ain't worth
Yeah.
this and all that. Those are the people that gets the television shows and gets the views and gets the clicks and gets the likes and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, even though I certainly understand where your heart is in regards to this particular subject, especially
Yeah.
in regards to the relationship between the black man and the black woman, because we definitely need each other more now than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the same time, I think that we are allowing the minority to overtake the majority, because I think that
I
people
agree.
aren't waking up with these type of things on our minds. Like, you know what, like, um well, I so and so this and so and so that or whatever else like
Yeah.
that, until they take one of us out. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then now I want to march on your behalf or whatever and say your
Right.
name and this, that, and the third, and then go back
Right.
to attacking my. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's a part. I feel like it's just the same thing like in the hood. Like you got bad areas where it's dark and dim,
Hmm.
and they got these big bright police lights, but they only
Hmm.
put those police lights after someone was unalived.
Hmm.
They're not
That
on the
part.
block before that to
Hmm.
illuminate danger.
Hmm.
So now it doesn't make sense to be there because another situation ain't gonna have to happen there again. So
Hmm.
putting a light there is not gonna that should have been there before that. So we should
Right.
be marching before a next person happens. Like marches don't have to happen because something happened. Let's
Hmm.
march before it happens. That's what they did back then. They will march
Yeah.
before the situation. They will march for the change, not
Hmm.
let's march because this person is gone. Let's go loot and use this person's unaliveness to go get stuff from stores and tear up our
Hmm.
community.
Right.
So like even with that type of rhetoric does not even produce anything positive for our community. And how many like even the father said, he said, I don't understand. He said I had triple bypass surgery. I think maybe he said a while ago.
A while
And he
ago. Yeah.
right, and he because I don't want to get it wrong. And he was saying he don't understand why God kept him here.
Hmm.
But he said he believed that it was because for this moment so that his daughter's name wouldn't go in vain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to take whatever I forgot whatever ruling they're trying to get off the table for
George Floyd,
George Floyd, right? What is it?
Police for
Arrest
Justice
police,
Act.
right? To get that off the
Hmm.
table, and it's
Hmm.
been sitting there.
Yeah.
Um, Also, he said about the how this officer was supposed to be, like you said, he's been transferred 6 times for whatever reason, and also has three DUIs, but he's showing up as a bully to people's houses and taking out
I
somebody.
work I work in
Like
the
come on,
government, and it is clear. They made it clear that, um your personal activities, including and up to traffic violations, can be used against you in your employment. How in the hell is this man with, especially three DUIs? That means that you habitual. You just got caught 3 times. That's all
right,
that means.
right,
You
right.
know
So
what I mean?
right, and it's not clear if it happened before he started the force or
I
during.
wouldn't
Either
even
way, is
care.
no. But I'm saying is that it's not clear. But either way, it don't matter.
Right.
They still should
They on the books. You
right.
know
They
what I mean? Like, you
right.
got three. The 3 times means that you
You
do it
just
more often.
you just yeah. So
You
that tells a
okay?
lot about your character. You don't care.
That part.
You entitled.
That part.
I don't drink, so I ain't never been pulled over. But I can tell you, if I ever did, my butt sits down. If I have a little, wine or something,
Most
I'm scared
rational
of that.
people.
Like I don't want to
Most
do that. So you
right.
did it 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
3?
And that's just the times they caught you.
That part. That part. You've been transferred in this, so you've been a problem child, and then
Mm-hmm.
not only are you a deputy sheriff,
Mm-hmm.
so that holds a little more weight.
Yep. Because now you got people under you that you train in to be the exact same way you are.
And I guarantee you,
And I know he was trying to put. I know he was trying to put the force of his authority on his other deputy, but his other
oh yeah,
deputy, this other deputy had that camera on, so they didn't know
that was
that
it.
that was it.
Quiet, quiet.
Hmm.
He was quiet. He like, yeah, because the water's right here. I said, no, you didn't, nigga. That ain't. I said, oh. So I started taking notes. I was up at like 9 o'clock taking notes. Oh, he lied right here. And then the officers walking around, everybody got their head down. They not looking at him. So that tells me that they know you a problem person,
Mm-hmm.
right? They didn't
Mm-hmm.
seem too concerned. It seemed like, oh, I was waiting for this, or yeah, this is
It's
it.
a matter of time.
And then he says, oh yeah, this be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She out
Right.
there taking her last breath still inside, and you like, yeah, this be crazy. and set it on camera. Now your
On
camera's on.
camera.
Now your
Mm-hmm.
camera's on, but everything else you
Mm-hmm.
ain't catch.
Mm-hmm.
And threw out what you wanted. So three things I have a problem with. And I hope that, and I guarantee you, only thing they had to ask his partner was, did she throw the water?
Right.
And he better be very, very safe when he say what he say.
Mm-hmm.
Did she throw the water? Is this water on the floor? Because now, if the officers are walking in the water and water take, by the time they get there, the medical examiner get there, the water evaporated. That's all they need to
Mm-hmm.
know. So what tells me is that before you get fired, they had to watch the video of your partner's cam because yours wasn't on,
Mm-hmm.
and they only had to ask him one or two questions. What happened? And he already saw that you was trying to coerce me to say she threw the water, and I know she didn't throw the water. Because if he said she threw the water and they know that's not the truth, they both would have been in trouble. He would have been suspended, and he probably be on desk duty pending whatever. But his name ain't even coming up.
No, his name. They didn't even mention his name in the report at all.
Nothing. The officers got their heads down. And then there's another one where now his camera's on. He's going to the car to get wiped, and now he's wiping. I guess the powder, the ballistics off his hands. He's wiping it with Clorox, and you can hear him breathing hard. And oh, saying it over and over again because I said in one of the comments, I said, don't think now, don't think
Right.
this. You should have thought before you pulled the trigger. Don't start breathing and thinking right now what could have happened. You should have thought about this before you did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what she saw, she did see.
Mm-hmm. That part.
Because when you're not in that spiritual place, and you don't pray and you don't fast and you don't understand that type of spirituality, you will be deemed crazy and off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? The biggest, greatest trick that the enemy, which is i.e. the devil, that ever proved to people to make people believe he's not real.
He's not real.
And demons don't exist. And they do.
Yeah.
And we see it every day. And if you ever have the eye, and I guarantee you don't want it, it's not for the weak.
Yeah.
It's not. And I'll land right there.
Look, let me tell you. This was a heavy topic for me. It's a heavy topic because I'm on both sides of this equation. I got a sister that's in law enforcement. But I'm so pro my people. Now I'm not anti anybody else, but I'm
Right.
pro my people, and I think that the problem that I have is the mistreatment of my people when these rogue our officers or this rogue system
Yeah.
interacts with my people, you know what I mean? To where we keep having these particular types of conversation, and I'm sick of having these particular types of conversation, just like I was sick of having these conversations in regards to my people unaliving my other people, my you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amongst us. Like
It's a lot of names.
you know what I
It's a
mean?
lot. It's a lot.
How many more names do we got to say?
How many?
You know what I mean? When can one of these names make the difference to where what you just conduct yourself, treat us like a human being, treat us like you would if you were responding to the location and that was your mother on the scene.
I never understood, and I still don't understand how the most beautiful, smoothest, melanated skin can be the most hated.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Nothing different about me except a shade or two.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing different about you but a shade or two. I got 10 toes. I got 2 eyes. I got lips. I got a nose. I got hair, maybe a little coily. I got feet. I got arms, kneecaps. I bleed. We bleed blue until it comes out with the oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nothing different other than our DNA.
But the children of the children of Israel was seen as in the Bible, they were seen as threats to everyone, even though they didn't have their own land.
Right.
They were moving through everybody else's land, and they didn't settle on Israel for quite some time, but they were seen as threats to everybody that they came encounter with because they were different.
But different,
And
but different don't mean do me what you want to do me, how you want
yeah,
to do me. You know, you can't
yeah,
move somewhere. Well, what do you got that for? How dare you? You know, you
hmm
can't be first class. Well, how do you get to sit up here, nigga? How you get to sit first class? What did you do? I worked.
hmm right,
I invest. I can
right,
read. I reads, massa. I reads now.
right,
I can read.
right.
I know how to pick a book up. I know how to write. I can articulate. I know words. You know.
As a matter of fact, I mean, go talk your stuff. I writes books.
I writes
Not only do
books.
I, you know, what I
I
mean, talk
reads
your
and
stuff
writes,
to
sir.
it.
You know.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not here just chucking corn and cotton. You
But
know,
you know,
like come on, man. I understand what you're talking about. I can see you.
but see that you know, the crazy thing is that they see the power of us, even when we
Yeah.
don't see it in ourselves.
Yep.
There's a reason why they move in the way that as if we're a constant
Mhm.
danger to them, because you respect power when you see it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's in the natural gait of us.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we live in this society here where it has always been hammered. It's been hammered into them that they're inferior to us. So they respond as if they have to show their superiority to us. Like, no, that's
Yeah.
not, you know,
Yeah.
but
They break us
it's
down.
in
So we
everything
start.
that we do, in
Yeah.
every single thing that we do, we're dominant.
Mhm.
From our genes to this to
Yeah.
that, you know, we do when we move, and like it resounds through history. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's if I take anything from it, it's like, look, it's another example of another inferior being want to prove his superiority in a manner that wasn't necessary.
Yeah. But it's never necessary. It's never. And it's crazy because every time it happens, it's always an unalivement. It's not a mortal injury
Yeah,
recovery. It's always a mortal injury.
yeah,
Always fatality. Always.
yeah.
Like like it says, say her name, Sonya Massey.
Sonya Massey.
Say her name, Sonya Massey. My prayers and condolences goes out to their community, her children, her father, her family, to
Mhm.
our community, because when once one is gone, that's just another
It's another hit for
it's another
us.
hit for us. Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah, it's
Another hit
another
for
hit
us.
for us. You know, I feel it as if she's a part of my own family. So, you know,
Yeah,
my condolences, you know, to my people out here. Look, I love my people. Like I said, I'm pro my
no matter
people, and
what.
I'm not anti nobody. I'm not
That's right.
anti anybody. Like I just feel as if, you know, like at some point in time, my people deserve the same treatment that other people are getting.
Yeah,
So everybody, you know, just know that we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Comment, subscribe, follow, like, share. We're here.
we're
We
here.
love it.
I'm just
This
heavy,
one was a
y'all.
tough one. This is a
This is
heavy
heavy.
one. Yeah.
This is heavy.
But thank you for all that you guys have done for us. We appreciate it. And we're going to keep coming with it.
Hold your family close and
Give them
say
a
her
kiss,
name. Give them a
hug
kiss.
them,
Hug them.
tell them you love them. Call somebody today. Tell them you love them.
R.I.P. to Sonya Massey. Good night, y'all.
Good night.